I should have known better than to accept a double shift at the Velvet Rose on a Friday night. My feet ached, my lower back screamed for mercy, and the smile I'd plastered on my face for the last 6 hours felt like it might crack and shatter across the marble floor. But rent was due in 3 days, and my pride wouldn't let me call my sister for another loan. "Table 7 needs a refill," Marcus hissed as he brushed past me, his tray balanced with practiced ease. "And they're getting impatient." I glanced toward the corner booth, the one we called the shadow table, because it sat just beyond the reach of the crystal chandeliers, draped in perpetual dimness. 3 men in expensive suits occupied it tonight, their conversation hushed, their eyes constantly scanning the room. I'd learned not to ask questions about the shadow table. The Velvet Rose attracted a certain clientele, the kind who paid in cash, tipped generously, and expected absolute discretion. I'd been working here for 8 months, ever since I'd moved to the city, and I'd perfected the art of being invisible while being indispensable. I grabbed the bottle of 30-year-old scotch from behind the bar and made my way across the restaurant, weaving between tables of laughter and clinking glasses. The closer I got to table 7, the heavier the air became, like walking into a storm front. The 3 men fell silent as I approached. "Gentlemen," I said, keeping my voice professional and pleasant. "Can I refresh your drinks?" The 2 on the left barely glanced at me, but the man on the right, the one sitting deepest in the shadows, turned his head. And the world tilted. He was beautiful in the way a knife was beautiful, all sharp edges and dangerous promise. Dark hair swept back from a face carved from stone and severity, with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes so dark they seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. He wore his power like other men wore cologne, invisible but unmistakable, seeping into every breath. "Please," he said, and his voice was smoke and velvet, low enough that I had to lean in slightly to hear it. My hand trembled, just barely as I poured. I cursed myself for the weakness, but I felt those dark eyes tracking my every movement, studying me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. "You're new," he observed. Not a question. 8 months, I replied, focusing on the amber liquid cascading into his glass. "So, not exactly new." One of the other men stiffened at my tone, but the dark-eyed stranger's lips curved. Not quite a smile, but something more dangerous. 8 months, and I've never seen you." He lifted the glass, swirling the scotch with elegant fingers. "I notice everything that happens in my city. His city." The words hung in the air like a claim, a warning, a promise. "Maybe you weren't looking," I said, then immediately regretted it. This wasn't the kind of man you challenged, not even playfully. But instead of anger, something sparked in those midnight eyes. Interest, perhaps. Or amusement. Perhaps. He took a sip, never breaking eye contact. "Do you play chess?" The question came from nowhere, catching me completely off guard. What? "Chess." He gestured to the corner of the booth, and I noticed for the first time the marble chess set sitting on the table, pieces arranged mid-game. "Do you play?" "Sometimes," I admitted carefully. "Join me." It wasn't a request. "I'm working. I'll clear it with your manager." He pulled out his phone, typed something with one hand. 30 seconds later, Marcus appeared at my elbow, his face flushed. "Autumn, Mr. Dante has requested your company for the remainder of your shift. I'll cover your tables." My mouth went dry. Mr. Dante. I didn't need to ask which Dante. Everyone in the city knew that name, whispered it with fear and respect in equal measure. Alessandro Dante, the king of the underworld, the man who controlled everything from the docks to the mayor's office, whose enemies disappeared without a trace, whose word was law in every shadow and corner of this city. I should have walked away, should have made an excuse, claimed illness, quit on the spot. Instead, I found myself sliding into the booth across from him. I should warn you, I said, proud that my voice didn't shake. I'm pretty good at chess. So am I. His eyes gleamed with something predatory, thrilling. White or black? Black. I always played black. It suited me. The underdog, the second move, the one who had to work harder to win. He reset the board with efficient movements, those elegant fingers positioning each piece with precision. Standard rules, no time limit. Stakes? I don't know what possessed me to ask. Alessandro Dante leaned back, studying me with that unnerving intensity. If I win, you have dinner with me tomorrow night. And if I win, you won't. The arrogance should have irritated me. Instead, it sent a shiver down my spine, half fear, half something I didn't want to name. You're that confident? I don't lose, Autumn. He moved his first pawn. Not at chess, not at anything. I moved my knight, falling into the familiar rhythm of the game. Everyone loses eventually. Not me. We played in silence, the restaurant's noise fading to white noise around us. The other two men had disappeared at some point, leaving us alone in the shadowed booth. I could feel his guards positioned around the room, invisible but present, watching. But I stopped caring about any of that after the fifth move, because Alessandro Dante was good, dangerously good. But so was I. I'd learned chess from my grandfather, a former Soviet Grandmaster who'd defected to the United States and spent his retirement teaching a lonely little girl the secrets of the 64 squares. I'd competed nationally as a teenager, won state championships, earned the title of woman Grandmaster before I'd given it all up after his death. No one here knew that. No one in my new life knew about Autumn Chen, chess prodigy. They only knew Autumn the Waitress, invisible and unremarkable. But as I sacrificed my bishop to set up a devastating attack, I saw the exact moment Alessandro realized he'd underestimated me. His eyes narrowed, his jaw tightened, and something shifted between us. Recognition, respect, fascination. 23 moves later, I moved my queen. Checkmate. The word fell between us like a gunshot. Alessandro stared at the board, his expression unreadable. Around us, the restaurant had gone quiet. I realized his men were watching, tense and alert, as if my victory had somehow threatened their king. Then Alessandro Dante laughed. It was a dark, rich sound that seemed to come from somewhere deep in his chest. Genuine and surprised and utterly captivating. Well, he said, meeting my eyes with an intensity that stole my breath. It seems I do lose, occasionally. I should get back to work, I said, suddenly desperate to escape the weight of his attention. Tomorrow night. Dinner. He caught my wrist as I moved to slide out of the booth, his grip firm, but not painful. I insist. But I won? Exactly, which means I owe you a debt. His thumb traced a circle against my pulse point, and I knew he could feel how fast my heart was racing. And I always pay my debts, Autumn. Always. He released me, but I could still feel the ghost of his touch burning against my skin. I fled to the kitchen, ignoring Marcus's curious stare, my mind spinning. I'd just beaten the most dangerous man in the city at chess. And somehow, impossibly, I'd never felt more alive, or more terrified, in my entire life. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face. Those dark, knowing eyes studying me like I was a puzzle he'd just discovered. One worth solving. My wrist still tingled where his fingers had circled it. Gentle but absolutely possessive. I always pay my debts. At 3 a.m, I stood at my apartment window, watching the city lights blur in the rain, trying to convince myself I could simply not show up. He didn't know where I lived. I could find a new job, disappear into the city's sprawl. But even as I thought it, I knew I wouldn't, because some self-destructive part of me wanted to see him again. The knock on my door came at exactly 7:30 in the evening. I stood frozen in my tiny living room, my black dress suddenly feeling too tight, too revealing, too much like I'd tried too hard, which I had. 3 outfit changes and an hour on my makeup. For a man I should be running from, not toward. The knock came again, patient but inevitable. I opened the door. A man in an impeccable charcoal suit stood in the hallway. Not Alessandro, but one of his shadows from last night. Up close, I could see the scar running down his left cheek, the cold efficiency in his pale eyes. "Miss Chen, Mr. Dante sent me to collect you." I don't remember giving him my address. Mr. Dante knows everything he needs to know. A statement of fact, not a boast. The car is waiting. I should have slammed the door. Should have told him where Alessandro Dante could shove his dinner invitation. Instead, I grabbed my purse and followed him down 3 flights of narrow stairs to where a black Mercedes idled at the curb, rain beating on its perfect paint job. The scarred man opened the back door, and my breath caught. Alessandro sat in the darkness of the car's interior, devastating in a black suit that probably cost more than my yearly rent. He looked up from his phone, and that dangerous almost smile curved his lips. "Autumn." He said my name like a secret. "You came. You knew I would." I slid into the car, hyper-aware of the small space. The scent of his cologne, something dark and expensive. Cedar and smoke, I hoped. The door closed, sealing us in together. The privacy screen was up, giving us the illusion of being alone. But hope and certainty are different things. Where are we going? Somewhere private. He poured 2 glasses of wine from a bottle I didn't recognize but suspected cost a fortune. "Somewhere we can talk without an audience." About what? About how a waitress at the Velvet Rose happens to play chess like a Grandmaster. He handed me a glass, his fingers brushing mine deliberately. "About who you really are, Autumn Chen." My heart stuttered. "I don't know what you mean. Don't insult us both with lies." His voice remained soft, but steel ran underneath it. "I had my people look into you after last night. There's remarkably little information available about your life before 8 months ago. No social media, no credit history, no digital footprint beyond what's absolutely necessary. You're a ghost who suddenly materialized in my city. People have a right to privacy. Not in my world." He shifted closer, and I felt the heat of him, the magnetic pull that seemed to distort gravity itself. In my world, secrets are currency, and mysteries are either assets or threats. Which am I? I haven't decided yet. His eyes searched my face with that unnerving intensity. "But you beat me last night. No one beats me. So either you're incredibly lucky, or you're much more than you pretend to be." The car glided through rain-slick streets, climbing into the hills above the city. I should have been terrified. Alone with Alessandro Dante, being taken somewhere private, my secrets laid bare. But I'd spent 24 hours thinking about those last moments at the chessboard. About the way he'd looked at me when I'd checkmated his king, like I'd finally become visible to him, like I'd finally become real. "My grandfather taught me," I said quietly. "Mikhail Volkov. He was a Soviet Grandmaster before he defected. I grew up playing against him every day." Alessandro's expression shifted. Surprise, recognition. "Volkov, I know that name. He trained several world champions before he disappeared from the circuit. He died 5 years ago. I stopped playing after that. It hurt too much." I took a sip of wine to ease the tightness in my throat. I haven't touched a chessboard since. Until last night. "Why last night?" "Because you assumed you'd win." I met his eyes, refusing to look away. Because everyone always assumes I'm nothing more than what they see on the surface. And sometimes I get tired of being invisible. You could never be invisible. His voice dropped lower, intimate, not to me. The car stopped, and I looked out to see we'd arrived at a mansion overlooking the city. All glass and steel and impossible wealth, glowing like a beacon in the darkness. "This is your home?" "One of them." He opened the car door himself, offering his hand. "Come." I placed my hand in his and let him guide me inside. The interior was stunning, modern and masculine, with floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the city sprawled below like a kingdom. But what caught my attention was the chess table positioned in front of the windows, an antique set with pieces carved from ebony and ivory. "You set this up for me?" I asked, something warm and dangerous unfurling in my chest. I wanted to play again, properly this time. He led me to the table, his hand on the small of my back, burning through the thin fabric of my dress. Without distractions, without pretense. Stakes? The word came out breathier than I'd intended. Alessandro smiled, a real smile this time, devastating and boyish and utterly lethal to my self-preservation. "Truth," he said. "For every piece captured, the winner asks a question. The loser must answer honestly, and if I refuse to answer, then I win by forfeit." He began setting up the board. "But I don't think you will. I think you're as curious about me as I am about you." He was right. God help me, he was completely right. "I'll play," I said, "but I should warn you. I don't plan on losing." "Neither do I." His eyes gleamed with challenge and something darker, more intense. "Which means tonight is going to be very interesting." He captured my first pawn 12 moves in. "Why did you really come to this city 8 months ago?" he asked. I hesitated, feeling the weight of the truth. But I'd agreed to the rules. To disappear, I admitted. To become someone else. Someone normal and unremarkable. Why? That's 2 questions. You'll have to earn the next one. His smile was predatory. Challenge accepted. The city glittered below us like scattered diamonds as Alessandro captured my knight. 3 pieces to 2. He was winning. "What are you running from?" he asked, his voice soft but unyielding. I stared at the board, my throat tight. We'd been playing for an hour, the questions gradually peeling away layers I'd thought were safely buried. He knew about my grandfather now, about the chess circuit, about the promising career I'd abandoned, but he didn't know the real reason I'd disappeared. "My family's expectations," I said carefully. It was true, if not the whole truth. My father wanted me to be a champion, to make the Volkov-Chen legacy immortal. When I walked away after grandfather died, he never forgave me. Alessandro studied me with those dark, penetrating eyes. "There's more." "That's not a question." "No," he agreed, reaching across to capture one of my bishops. "But this is... Why do I feel like you're still hiding the most important part?" My pulse quickened. "Because you're perceptive and dangerous. Is that your question?" His lips curved. "Whether I'm dangerous?" "I already know you're dangerous." I moved my queen, forcing his king into a defensive position. "The question is whether you're dangerous to me." "Yes." No hesitation, no pretense. Just brutal honesty. "I'm the most dangerous thing that's ever walked into your carefully constructed new life, Autumn. Because I see you, the real you, and I have no intention of letting you fade back into the shadows." The words landed like a physical touch, stealing my breath. I captured his rook. "Why did you really invite me here?" I asked. "It's not just about the chess." Alessandro leaned back, his expression unreadable in the city's reflected glow. For a long moment, I thought he might refuse to answer, might claim forfeit and end the game. Then he spoke. "Because when you beat me last night, I felt something I haven't felt in 10 years. His voice was low, almost rough. "Surprise, wonder, the thrill of facing something unexpected." He paused. "In my world, everything is calculated. Every move, every alliance, every threat. People are predictable. They want money, power, protection. They fear me or they try to use me. But you..." He reached across the board, his fingers brushing my wrist exactly where he'd touched me last night. "You looked at me like I was just a man who'd underestimated you at chess, not the king of anything. Just Alessandro." "You are just a man," I said quietly. "No," his grip tightened slightly. "I stopped being just a man a long time ago. I'm a weapon, a monster, a necessary evil that keeps the city's darkness from consuming everything." His eyes burned into mine. "But for 3 seconds last night when you said checkmate, I forgot that." The vulnerability in his voice cracked something open inside me. "I should go," I whispered, but I didn't pull away. "You should," he agreed. "You should run as far and as fast as you can from me, Autumn Chen. Because I consume everything I touch. I ruin and destroy and corrupt. His thumb traced my pulse. But you won't run, because you're as tired of hiding as I am of the darkness. He was right. God, he was so devastatingly right. I captured his remaining night. What do you want from me? My voice came out shakier than I'd intended. Alessandro's expression shifted, something raw and hungry flickering across his features before he controlled it. Everything, he said simply. Every secret, every fear, every thought that crosses your brilliant mind. He stood, moving around the table toward me with predatory grace. I want to understand how you think, what makes you smile, what haunts you at 3 a.m. He stopped in front of me, close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from his body. I want to protect you from whatever you're running from, even though protection is the most dangerous thing I could offer. His hand came up, fingers ghosting along my jaw, and I want to corrupt you, to pull you into my world, to watch you navigate the darkness and still somehow shine. That's... I struggled to breathe. That's insane. Yes, his smile was dark, self-aware. I'm aware. You don't even know me. Then let me. He tilted my face up, his eyes searching mine. Stay, finish the game. Let me ask my questions and answer yours. Let this, whatever this is, exist for one night before reality crashes back in. I should have said no. Should have stood, called for his driver, returned to my tiny apartment and my invisible life. Instead, I reached up and captured his king. Checkmate, I whispered. Again. Alessandro's laugh was low and rough. Impossible. Look at the board. He did, and I watched the realization cross his face. I'd sacrificed my queen 3 moves ago to set up an inescapable trap. He'd been so focused on my questions, on the conversation, that he'd missed it entirely. You're magnificent, he breathed. I'm a Grandmaster who never loses. I stood, bringing us chest to chest, my heart hammering. You should have done better research. I should have. His hand settled on my waist, possessive and careful. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad you surprised me. I win, I said. Which means I get to ask the final question. Ask. I looked up into those dark, dangerous eyes and voiced the question that had been burning in my chest since the moment I'd slid into his car. What happens now? Alessandro's expression turned absolutely feral. Now, he said softly, I show you my world. The real one, not the mansion and the wine and the pretty words. His grip tightened. I show you the blood and the violence and the empire I've built on fear and loyalty. And then you decide if you're strong enough to stand beside a monster. Before I could respond, his phone buzzed. He pulled it out, his expression darkening as he read the screen. What is it? I asked. A problem. He looked up, and I saw the transformation happen in real time. The vulnerable man disappearing, replaced by the cold king, one that requires my immediate attention. I should go then. No. His hand caught mine. You're coming with me. You wanted to see my world, Autumn. Tonight, you're going to get your wish. The fear that shot through me was electric. Where are we going? Alessandro's smile was all teeth and shadows, to remind someone what happens when they betray me. The warehouse loomed out of the darkness, like a wound in the city's side, all rusted. Metal and broken windows, squatting beside the docks where the river's black water lapped at rotting piers. I'd stopped asking questions 10 minutes ago. Alessandro had transformed during the car ride, his casual elegance hardening into something cold and absolute. He'd made 3 phone calls in rapid Italian, his voice clipped and commanding, while I sat pressed against the leather seat, trying to understand what I'd agreed to. I show you the blood and the violence. The Mercedes stopped, surrounded immediately by 4 black SUVs. Men emerged, hard-faced, armed, efficient. Alessandro's army. Stay close to me, he said, finally looking at me. Don't speak unless I tell you to. Don't react to what you see. Can you do that? I should have said no. Should have demanded he take me home. But I'd asked what happens now. And he was answering. Yes, I whispered. His hand found mine, squeezing once, reassurance or warning. I couldn't tell. We walked into the warehouse. The interior was a cavern of shadows and harsh fluorescent lights, empty except for a cluster of men in the center. As we approached, they parted like water, revealing a man tied to a metal chair, middle-aged, balding, his expensive suit torn and bloodied. "Alessandro, please." The man started, but Alessandro held up one hand and the words died. "Marco." Alessandro's voice echoed through the space, soft but carrying absolute authority. "My accountant for 15 years. My trusted financial advisor. The man who knows where every dollar of my money goes. Can you explain the $2 million that disappeared from my accounts last week?" Alessandro circled the chair slowly, hands in his pockets, looking almost bored. "Can you explain the offshore transfers to the Genovese family? Can you explain why you thought I wouldn't notice?" "They threatened my family?" Marco's voice cracked. "They said they'd kill my wife, my children." "So, you sold me out to save them." Alessandro stopped circling, standing directly in front of the bound man. "I understand the impulse, Marco, I really do. Family is important." Hope flickered in Marco's eyes. "But you came to work for me knowing what I am, knowing what I do." Alessandro's voice dropped lower, colder. "You accepted my money, my protection, my trust. And the first rule, the only rule that matters in my world, is loyalty. Please." Alessandro turned to me, and I fought to keep my expression neutral, even as my heart raced. "Autumn, I want you to pay attention to what happens next. This is what my world looks like. This is who I am." He pulled a gun from inside his jacket. Black, sleek, deadly casual. "No," Marco screamed. "Alessandro, please. I have children. So do the men whose lives you endangered with your betrayal." Alessandro's hand was perfectly steady. "So do the families who depend on me for protection. Your fear doesn't excuse your treachery, Marco. Nothing excuses it." I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. This was real. This was actually happening. "You have a choice," Alessandro continued, his tone almost conversational. "You can die here tonight quickly and cleanly. Your family will be compensated, your debts forgiven. They'll never know the extent of your betrayal." Marco sobbed. "Or..." Alessandro's eyes flickered to me briefly. "You can tell me everything. Every meeting, every conversation, every piece of information you gave the Genovese family. You cooperate fully, and I'll let you live. Your family stays under my protection, but you'll owe me a debt that can never be fully repaid." "Anything," Marco gasped. "Anything. I'll tell you everything. I know you will." Alessandro lowered the gun, gesturing to one of his men. "Take him to the safe house. Get every name, every date, every detail, then set him up in one of the rehabilitation centers. He works for us now for free for the rest of his miserable life." "Yes, sir." As Marco was dragged away, still sobbing, Alessandro turned to face his assembled men. "This is what mercy looks like in my world," he said, his voice carrying to every corner. "Marco betrayed us, and he'll spend the rest of his life paying for it. But he lives. His family stays safe, because I am not a monster who kills without reason." The men nodded, their respect palpable. "But make no mistake," Alessandro's voice hardened to steel. "Mercy is not weakness. The Genovese family thought they could buy my accountant, steal my money, undermine my operations. They thought I wouldn't respond." He smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. "They were wrong. Gather the crew. We move on their operations tomorrow night. I want them to understand exactly what it cost to cross Alessandro Dante." The men dispersed with military efficiency, leaving us alone in the warehouse's echoing space. Alessandro holstered his gun and turned to me. "Are you going to be sick?" I realized I was shaking. My hands clenched so tight my nails cut into my palms. "I thought you were going to kill him." "So did he. So did everyone else in this room." He stepped closer. "Do you understand why I didn't?" "Because..." My mind raced, trying to reconcile the man who'd played chess with me, who'd spoken about vulnerability and surprise, with the cold king who'd held a gun to a weeping man's head. Because dead men can't provide information, or serve as examples. Partly. His hand came up to cup my face, thumb brushing my cheek. "But also because you were watching. My breath caught. What? I wanted to show you who I am, Autumn. The violence, the power, the absolute control. But I also wanted to show you that I'm not a mindless killer, that there's still humanity somewhere in this darkness. His eyes searched mine, vulnerable again, achingly so. I wanted you to see that I can make choices. That mercy, even calculated mercy, is still possible. You did that for me. I did it because of you. His other hand found my waist, pulling me closer. I did it because the thought of you looking at me with disgust or horror was suddenly unbearable. I did it because in the space of 2 days, you've become something I can't define, can't control, and sure as hell can't walk away from. Alessandro, tell me to take you home. His forehead pressed against mine, his breath warm on my lips. Tell me you want nothing to do with this world, with me, and I'll let you go. I'll make sure you're safe, set you up somewhere far from here, and I'll never contact you again. Is that what you want? No. The word was rough, almost broken. But it's what you should want, what any sane person would want. I reached up, my hands finding his face, feeling the tension in his jaw. I should be terrified, I whispered. I should run, but when I'm with you, I feel more alive than I have in 5 years. Like I've been sleepwalking through my life and you've finally woken me up. I met his dark eyes. You're dangerous, Alessandro Dante. But maybe I'm tired of being safe. He kissed me. It wasn't gentle. It was possession and desperation, and years of darkness meeting unexpected light. His hands tangled in my hair, pulling me closer, and I responded with equal hunger, equal need. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his eyes were almost black. You're mine now, he said softly. Do you understand? Whatever this is, wherever it goes, you're mine, and I protect what's mine. I'm not a possession. No, he agreed. You're something far more dangerous. You're a weakness I can't afford but refuse to give up. Behind us, a phone rang. Alessandro answered it, his body tensing against mine. When? A pause. How many? Another pause, longer. I'm on my way. He hung up, and when he looked at me, I saw fear for the first time. What's wrong? The Genovese family. They didn't wait for my response. His grip on my hand tightened painfully. They just attacked 3 of my clubs. 12 casualties. And Autumn, what? They're asking about you. About the woman who was seen with me tonight. About Autumn Chen. My blood turned to ice. How do they know my name? Because someone told them. Alessandro's expression was murderous. Someone in my organization. Another traitor. He pulled me toward the door, surrounded immediately by his guards. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. A place only 3 people know about. He looked down at me, his expression fierce and protective and absolutely terrifying. I told you I protect what's mine, Autumn, and I'm about to show you exactly how far I'll go to keep that promise. The warehouse exploded behind us. The explosion threw us forward, Alessandro's body covering mine as glass and debris rained down. His guards formed a human shield around us, guns drawn, shouting into radios. My ears rang. Smoke choked the air. Through the chaos, I felt Alessandro's hands checking me frantically. My face, my arms, my sides. Are you hurt? His voice sounded distant, muffled. No, I don't think. Move. He hauled me to my feet and we ran. The Mercedes was gone, destroyed in the blast. Alessandro shoved me into one of the SUVs, sliding in beside me, barking orders in rapid Italian. The vehicle lurched forward, tires screaming, as 2 more explosions lit up the night behind us. They knew we were here, Alessandro said, his voice deadly calm despite the chaos. They knew exactly where we'd be, which means, the mole, I finished, my voice shaking. It wasn't just Marco. No, his jaw clenched. Someone higher up, someone who knows my routines, my safe houses, my responses to betrayal. He pulled out his phone, making a series of calls while the SUV weaved through the city streets at terrifying speed. I caught fragments, orders to lock down locations, to gather the inner circle, to find the leak before it bled them dry. How many people know where we're going now? I asked. Alessandro looked at me, and something in his expression softened despite the circumstances. 3. The 2 men in the front seat who've been with me since I was 17. And now you. You trust them that much? With my life, and now with yours. He laced his fingers through mine. I'm sorry. This isn't how tonight was supposed to go. A hysterical laugh bubbled up. What was it supposed to be? More chess and philosophical conversations about your darkness? Yes, actually. His lips curved slightly. Maybe a proper kiss that wasn't interrupted by assassination attempts. Alessandro, we're here, the driver announced. Looked out to see we'd stopped in front of a nondescript apartment building in a quiet residential neighborhood. Nothing like the mansion. Nothing that screamed wealth or power. This is your safe house? The most effective hiding place is in plain sight. Alessandro helped me out, keeping my hand firmly in his. Welcome to the closest thing I have to a normal life. The apartment was small. Living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. Comfortable but unremarkable, with worn furniture and books scattered everywhere. Chess books, I noticed. Strategy guides, classic games, theoretical treatises. You studied my games, I said, picking up a book with notes in the margins. After last night, I studied everything I could find about you, which wasn't much. Alessandro locked the door behind us, engaged 3 separate deadbolts, and checked his phone. My men are sweeping the other safe houses. I've called a meeting of my inner circle for dawn. Somewhere public, somewhere the Genovese family won't dare strike. And until then, we wait. He shrugged off his jacket, and I saw the gun holstered at his side, the tension coiled in his shoulders. We're safe here. No one knows about this place except Marco and Giovanni, my drivers. And I'd bet my empire on their loyalty. I sank onto the couch, the adrenaline finally crashing. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Hey, Alessandro knelt in front of me, his hands covering mine. Breathe. You're safe, I promise. People died tonight because of me. The words came out broken. You said they were asking about me. Which means those attacks, those casualties, are not your fault. His voice was firm, absolute. They're mine. My world, my enemies, my war. You're just caught in the crossfire. Then let me go. Drop me somewhere far away. Give me money to start over. No. Alessandro. No. He stood, pulling me up with him, his hands framing my face. I told you, you're mine now. Which means you stay where I can protect you, where I can keep you safe. This is insane. Yes. He kissed my forehead, my cheeks, my jaw. But you said you were tired of being safe. You said I made you feel alive. I didn't sign up for bombs and assassination attempts. No, he agreed. You signed up for chess and dangerous questions, and a man who can't seem to think about anything except the way you say checkmate. His lips hovered over mine. But you can't have one without the other, Autumn. You can't have the vulnerability without the violence. Can't have the man without the monster. I know. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. God help me, I know. This kiss was different, desperate and seeking, tasting of smoke and fear and something deeper. His hands slid down my back, pulling me against him, and I responded with equal hunger, equal need to feel something other than terror. Bedroom, I gasped against his mouth. Autumn. He pulled back slightly, his eyes searching mine. If we do this now, in the middle of all this chaos, I'll regret it tomorrow. I finished. Maybe, probably. But right now I need to feel something other than scared. I need to feel alive. And you? I traced his jaw, his lips. You make me feel everything at once. Alessandro's control snapped. He lifted me, carrying me to the bedroom, laying me down on the bed with surprising gentleness given the fire in his eyes. His hands found the zipper of my dress, sliding it down slowly, reverently. You're sure? He asked, even as his lips traced my collarbone. Because there's no going back from this. Not for me. I'm sure. What happened next was a blur of sensation, his mouth on my skin, my hands learning the map of scars across his back, the way he breathed my name like a prayer and a curse combined. He was gentle and fierce by turns, breaking me apart and putting me back together until I couldn't tell where he ended and I began. Afterward, we lay tangled together, my head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat gradually slow. Tell me something true. I whispered. Something you've never told anyone. Alessandro's hand traced patterns on my bare shoulder. I'm 35 years old and I've been afraid exactly 3 times in my life. Once when my father died and I inherited this empire at 21. Once when my sister was kidnapped 5 years ago. We got her back, but not before. He paused. And tonight, when those bombs went off and all I could think was that I'd gotten you killed. You have a sister? Had. She died 2 years ago. Cancer. His voice roughened. The doctors said it was genetic, unavoidable. But I always wondered if it was my world that poisoned her. If the stress, the fear of being my family, somehow made her sick. I pressed closer. You can't blame yourself for cancer. I can blame myself for everything else. He kissed the top of my head. I am responsible for so much death, Autumn. So much pain. Sometimes I wonder if I'm damned beyond redemption. Do you want redemption? I didn't. Not until I met a waitress who played chess like an angel and looked at me like I was human. He tilted my face up. Now I wonder if maybe I could be something other than the monster. If maybe there's still a man buried underneath all the blood. There is, I said softly. I've seen him. In the way you spared Marco. In the way you're protecting me. In the way you're lying here, vulnerable and honest, instead of out there hunting your enemies. My men are hunting them for me. I'll join them at dawn. His expression darkened. The Genovese family made a mistake tonight. They brought you into this. Threatened something He stopped, jaw working. Something you what? Something I care about. He finished quietly. And I don't forgive threats against things I care about. Before I could respond, his phone rang. He answered it, his body tensing. When? How many? A long pause. No, keep her there. Under guard. I'm on my way. He hung up, already moving, pulling on clothes with military efficiency. What happened? They found the mole. Alessandro's expression was murderous. And you're not going to believe who it is. Who? He looked at me, and I saw genuine pain flash across his features. My cousin, Sophia, the woman I trusted with everything. The woman who knew about you. The apartment felt suddenly too small, too exposed. She set us up tonight, I said slowly. The warehouse. She knew we'd be there. Yes. Alessandro checked his gun, his movements sharp and precise. And now I need to find out why. What they offered her that was worth betraying her own blood. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. You said I was yours, that you protect what's yours. I stood, pulling on my dress despite my still shaking hands. Well, it works both ways, Alessandro. You're mine too, and I'll be damned if I'm going to hide in a safe house while you walk into whatever trap she might have set. He stared at me for a long moment, then that dangerous smile curved his lips. You're going to be the death of me, Autumn Chen. Or your salvation, I countered. Let's hope, he said, pulling me in for one last searing kiss, that it's both. Sophia Dante was beautiful, porcelain skin, raven hair, dark eyes that mirrored Alessandro's. She stood in the center of a restaurant kitchen, hands bound, surrounded by 6 armed guards, looking more annoyed than frightened. We'd driven to Dante's, Alessandro's flagship restaurant, closed now in the pre-dawn hours. The place where, I realized with sick certainty, this family's power had been built meal by meal, connection by connection. Cousin. Sophia's voice dripped with contempt as we entered, finally gracing us with your presence. And you brought your little pet. Alessandro's hand tightened on mine. Careful, Sophia, or what? You'll kill me? She laughed, bitter and sharp. We both know you won't. I'm family. The only family you have left after Isabella died. The name hit Alessandro like a physical blow. I felt him flinch. Don't speak about my sister, he said quietly. You lost that right when you sold me out to the Genovese family. Sold you out? Sophia's eyes flashed. Is that what you think this is? A simple betrayal for money? Then enlighten me. Alessandro released my hand, moving closer to his cousin with predatory grace. Tell me why you've been feeding information to my enemies. Why you told them about Autumn. Why you set up tonight's attack. Because you've become weak, Sophia spat. You spared traitors instead of making examples. You obsess over a nobody waitress who beat you at chess. You talk about mercy and humanity like we're running a charity instead of an empire. So you decided to remove me? Alessandro's voice remained dangerously calm. Take over yourself? Or did the Genovese family promise you something better? They promised me what you've forgotten, that power requires ruthlessness, that this city respects fear, not mercy. Sophia's gaze shifted to me, and they promised to eliminate the distraction that's making you soft. Cold flooded my veins. You want me dead. I want him focused. Sophia turned back to Alessandro. Do you know what they're saying in the streets? That Alessandro Dante is losing his edge, that he's fallen for some girl and can't make the hard decisions anymore, that maybe it's time for new leadership. So you decided to provide it. Alessandro's jaw clenched. By having me killed. Your own cousin, I decided to save our family's legacy. Sophia's composure cracked. You think I wanted this? I worshipped you, Alessandro. Followed you, believed in you, learned everything from you. But then Isabella died and something in you broke. You started questioning everything, hesitating, talking about getting out, finding a different path. My sister's death made me realize there might be more to life than blood and power, Alessandro said softly. Is that so wrong? Yes. Tears streamed down Sophia's face now. Because that path ends with us all dead or in prison. The only way to survive in this world is to be the most feared, the most ruthless, the most absolute. And you're not that anymore. Alessandro was silent for a long moment, and I could see the war raging behind his eyes. Love for his cousin. Fury at her betrayal, grief for what they'd lost. You're right, he finally said. I'm not that anymore. Because I've seen what absolute ruthlessness costs. It cost me Isabella. She died drowning in the stress of this life. It cost me any chance at normalcy, at peace, at being something other than feared. He turned, finding my eyes across the room. But then I met someone who looked at me like I could still be human, like redemption might still be possible, and I realized I didn't want to die as the monster everyone expects me to be. How touching, Sophia sneered. And completely suicidal. The Genovese family won't stop coming for you now. Neither will the others who smell weakness. Your mercy will get everyone who depends on you killed. Then I'll protect them. Alessandro's voice turned to steel. All of them. And I'll start by dealing with you. He pulled out his gun. Sophia paled. You won't. You just said, I said I didn't want to die as a monster. I didn't say I wouldn't become one to protect what's mine. He chambered around. You threatened Autumn. You orchestrated attacks that killed 12 of my people. You betrayed everything our family stands for. Give me one reason I shouldn't end this right now. Because I'm your cousin. Sophia's voice rose, panicked now. Because I'm family. Because you love me. I did love you. Alessandro's hand was perfectly steady. Past tense. But you made your choice when you chose power over loyalty. Alessandro. I stepped forward, my heart pounding. Don't. He looked at me, surprised. If you kill her, you prove her right, I said quietly. You prove that mercy was just a performance for me. That deep down, you're exactly the monster everyone thinks you are. She tried to have you killed, Autumn. I know. I moved closer, placing my hand over his gun, lowering it slightly. But you said you wanted to be something different. Something more. You can't do that by executing family members in restaurant kitchens. What do you suggest? I let her go? Trust that she won't immediately run back to my enemies? No. I looked at Sophia, seeing the fear beneath her defiance. I suggest you show her exactly why mercy is more powerful than fear. Alessandro studied me for a long moment. Then, slowly, he lowered the gun completely. Fine. He turned to Sophia. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give my men every piece of information you have about the Genovese family's operations. Their locations, their plans, their weaknesses, everything. And if I refuse, then I'll let Autumn convince me to spare you again. But the next time you threaten her, the next time you betray this family, there won't be any mercy. I'll kill you myself and sleep soundly afterward. Do you understand? Sophia nodded, something like shock in her eyes. Good. Marco, Alessandro called, and his head of security appeared. Take her to the secure location. Get everything she knows. And Sophia. He looked at his cousin one last time. Pray that the information you give us is worth more than your treachery cost. As Sophia was led away, Alessandro turned to me, his expression raw. You just saved the life of a woman who tried to kill you. Why? Because you needed me to, I said simply. Because I could see you didn't want to do it, despite what you said. Because mercy might be weakness in your world, but it's also the only thing that makes you different from your enemies. You're extraordinary. He pulled me close, burying his face in my hair, and terrifying. And I have no idea how I survived 35 years without you, Alessandro. I love you. The words came out rough, almost angry. I know it's too soon, too crazy, too everything. But I've spent my whole life controlling every emotion, every weakness, and I can't control this. I love you, Autumn Chen. And if that makes me weak, then so be it. My breath caught. I should have said it was too soon. Should have reminded him we'd known each other for 3 days. Should have protected myself from the inevitable heartbreak. Instead, I kissed him. I love you too, I whispered against his lips. God help me, I do. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his expression darkening. What now? Sophia wasn't lying about one thing. The Genovese family is coming. They've mobilized their entire organization. They're planning a major strike tomorrow night, targeting all my holdings simultaneously. Can you stop them? I can try. He looked down at me, his eyes fierce and protective. But first I need to get you somewhere truly safe. Somewhere they'll never find you. I told you, I'm not hiding while you fight. Autumn, no. I grabbed his jacket. You don't get to confess your love and then ship me off to safety. We're in this together now. Whatever happens tomorrow night, we face it together. You could die. So could you. I met his eyes steadily, and I'd rather die beside you than live knowing I abandoned you. Alessandro kissed me again, desperate and claiming. When this is over, he said. When the Genovese family is dealt with and the dust settles, I'm taking you away from all this. Somewhere quiet, somewhere safe. Just us. Promise? Promise. His phone rang again. This time when he answered, his face went white. When? How? A long, terrible pause. I'm on my way. He hung up, and I saw genuine fear in his eyes. What happened? Marco and Giovanni, my drivers. The men I trusted with my life. His voice shook. They're dead. Both of them. Killed in their homes within the last hour. The room spun. But you said... I said 3 people knew about the safe house. Marco, Giovanni, and Sophia. Alessandro's expression turned murderous. Which means Sophia gave up more than just information to the Genovese family. She gave up the only place I considered truly safe. They know where we were. They know where we slept. They could have killed us. I whispered. No. Alessandro pulled out his gun, checking the clip with shaking hands. They wanted us to know. Wanted us to understand that nowhere is safe, that they can reach us anywhere, anytime. What do we do? Alessandro looked at me, and I saw a man on the edge of breaking, caught between the violence of his world and the fragile hope of redemption I'd offered him. We do what I should have done from the start, he said quietly. We go to war, and we don't stop until either they're destroyed or we are. The sun was rising over the city, painting the sky in shades of blood and fire. Tomorrow night, one way or another, everything would change. The war room was exactly what I'd imagined. A converted basement beneath the restaurant, with screens displaying security feeds from across the city, maps marked with territories, and a table surrounded by hard-faced men who commanded their own pieces of Alessandro's empire. And me, the waitress who'd stumbled into their world 3 days ago, now sitting at Alessandro's right hand like I belonged there. The Genovese family has 40 soldiers mobilized. Marco's replacement, a scarred man named Tomas, reported, pointing to locations on the map. They're targeting all 5 warehouses, 3 clubs, and this restaurant. Simultaneous attack scheduled for 10 p.m. tonight. Let them come, growled Dominic, Alessandro's enforcer. We'll turn their attack into a massacre. No. Alessandro's voice cut through the room. That's what they expect. A direct confrontation that bleeds both families dry. Then what do you suggest? Asked Vincent, the elderly consigliere who'd served Alessandro's father. We can't simply let them destroy our holdings. Alessandro stood, moving to the map. We evacuate all the locations. Move everyone, civilians, workers, guards, out by 8 p.m. Make it obvious we're abandoning them. You want to let them take our territory? Dominic looked incredulous. I want them to think they've won. Alessandro's smile was cold, calculated. While their forces are spread across the city, hitting empty buildings, we strike at the heart. Their main compound, their money, their leadership. That's suicide, Vincent protested. The Genovese estate is a fortress. 20 guards minimum, sophisticated security, which they'll thin out tonight when they need every man for their assault. Alessandro circled the compound on the map. We go in with 10 of our best. Fast, surgical, absolute. We take out their leadership, secure their records, find out who else in this city was working with Sofia to undermine us, and we end this war before it really begins. And what about the feds? Thomas asked. All this activity will draw attention. I've made arrangements. Alessandro's expression was grim. Certain officials have been reminded of certain favors owed. We'll have a 4-hour window where law enforcement will be mysteriously delayed responding to calls in our territories. I listened to them plan violence with the casual efficiency of corporate executives, feeling like I'd stepped through a mirror into a darker reflection of reality. This was Alessandro's world, not the chess games and vulnerable confessions, but this. Cold calculations about where to strike, how many men to sacrifice, which officials could be bought or threatened. Autumn. Alessandro's voice pulled me from my thoughts. Do you understand the plan? Everyone turned to look at me. You want to create a distraction while striking at the real target, I said slowly. It's chess. You're sacrificing pawns to take their queen. A few of the men chuckled, but Alessandro nodded seriously. Exactly. And I need you to stay here in the secure room with 2 guards. No matter what happens tonight, no, the room went silent. No, Alessandro's voice was dangerously soft. I'm coming with you. I stood, meeting his eyes across the table, to the Genovese compound. Absolutely not. You said I was yours. That you protect what's yours. I moved around the table toward him, but I'm not a possession to be locked away. I'm your partner, and partners don't let each other walk into fortresses alone. It's too dangerous. So was the warehouse. So was your apartment after Sofia's betrayal. Danger seems to be my new normal. I reached him, lowering my voice so only he could hear. You said you love me, which means you don't get to protect me by excluding me. You protect me by letting me stand beside you. Alessandro's jaw worked. I could see the war in his eyes, his instinct to keep me safe battling with his recognition that I was right. Can you handle a gun? He finally asked. No, but I'm a fast learner. Thomas. Alessandro never broke eye contact with me. Take Autumn to the range. Teach her basic firearm safety and shooting. She has 4 hours. Sir, with all respect. 4 hours, Alessandro repeated. If she can prove she won't be a liability, she comes with us. If not, she stays locked down here. Agreed? He directed the last word to me. Agreed, I said. 4 hours later, my hands smelled like gunpowder and my ears rang despite the protection. But I'd hit the target. Not perfectly. Not like Alessandro's men who could probably shoot flies at 50 yards, but well enough. Thomas nodded grudgingly. She's not terrible. Decent grouping, decent instincts. Good enough? Alessandro asked. Good enough not to shoot herself or us, Thomas amended. Sir, are you sure about this? No. Alessandro took the gun from my hands, checking it with automatic precision. But she's right. I can't protect her by locking her away. I can only protect her by keeping her where I can see her. He pulled me close, pressing his forehead to mine. You stay by my side every second, he said quietly. You don't engage unless absolutely necessary. You run if I tell you to run. Promise me. I promise. And Autumn, his voice roughened. If something happens to me tonight. If I don't make it out, don't. I covered his mouth with my hand. Don't you dare say goodbye to me. I need you to know. I know. I kissed him, tasting fear and determination. I know everything you want to say, so don't say it like it's the last time. Say it tomorrow when this is over and we're still alive. His smile was heartbreaking. Tomorrow, then. The Genovese compound sat on 10 acres outside the city, a modern fortress disguised as a wealthy estate. We approached in 3 unmarked vans, lights off, using service roads that wound through the wooded property. Alessandro sat beside me, dressed in tactical black, checking weapons with quiet efficiency. I wore the same, feeling like I was playing dress-up in someone else's dangerous life. 2 minutes, Tomas announced from the driver's seat. Alessandro took my hand. Last chance to stay in the van. Not a chance. Stubborn. Yours, I countered, and his smile flashed in the darkness. The van stopped a quarter mile from the main house. We piled out silently, 10 of us plus me, moving through the trees like shadows. Alessandro's hand stayed on my back, guiding me, keeping me close. Through the trees, I could see the compound, lights blazing, but most of the windows dark. Alessandro had been right. They'd pulled most of their forces for the assault on his holdings. "3 guards visible," Dominic whispered, pointing. 2 at the front gate, 1 roving the perimeter. "Tomas, Vincent, take them quietly. The rest of you, on my signal." Alessandro looked at me. "You stay behind me." "Always." I nodded, my heart hammering so hard I thought they might hear it. Tomas and Vincent disappeared into the darkness. 30 seconds later, Alessandro's radio crackled softly. All clear. We moved. The compound security was good, but not perfect. Alessandro's men disabled cameras with practiced ease, picked locks that should have been unpickable, moved through the mansion like they'd rehearsed it 100 times. Maybe they had. We found the main office on the 2nd floor, a massive space that screamed old money and older corruption. Alessandro went straight for the safe, pulling out tools I didn't recognize, working with intense focus. 5 minutes, he muttered. "Guard the door." His men took positions while I stood beside him, watching him work. "You've done this before," I observed quietly. "This is how I built my empire. By taking what belonged to my enemies and making it mine." The safe clicked open. "By being smarter, faster, more ruthless than everyone else." He pulled out stacks of documents, hard drives, cash. "Here, the Genovese family's entire operation. Financial records, political connections, blackmail material." The radio crackled. "Sir, we have movement. Multiple vehicles approaching fast." Alessandro's head snapped up. "How many?" "All of them, sir. The entire Genovese force. They're coming back." "Impossible," Dominic breathed. "The attack on your holdings was a trap," Alessandro finished, his face going pale. "They knew we'd come here. They wanted us here." The realization hit me like ice water. Sophia, she told them everything. The plan, the timing, everyone out, now! Alessandro grabbed my hand, pulling me toward the door. Too late. The explosion blew out the windows, throwing us backward. Gunfire erupted from below, from outside, surrounding us. Alessandro covered me with his body as bullets chewed through the walls. "We're pinned," Thomas shouted. "All exits blocked." Alessandro's eyes met mine, and I saw the horrible understanding there. We weren't getting out of this. Not all of us. Maybe none of us. "I love you," he said over the chaos. "I'm sorry I got you killed." "You haven't," I said fiercely. "We're getting out of this, together. You promised me tomorrow, remember?" "Autumn, together," I repeated. "Find us a way out, Alessandro. You're the king of this city, so think like one." He stared at me for one long moment, then that dangerous smile returned. "You're right." He grabbed his radio. "All units fall back to the study. Burn protocol. Sir, burn protocol means..." "I know what it means. Do it." His men converged on our position, laying down covering fire. Alessandro pulled me to the far wall, pressing a hidden panel that swung open to reveal a narrow passage. "Secret exit." I gasped. Every fortress has a weakness. I always make sure I know what it is. He pushed me into the passage. "Go, straight down, follow the tunnel. It comes out at the tree line." "What about you?" "I'm right behind you." But he wasn't moving. He was holding something in his hand. A small device with a blinking red light. Understanding hit me. The burn protocol. You're going to blow the house, with the Genovese family inside it, every last one of them. His expression was grim. It's the only way to end this. To make sure they never threaten you again? Alessandro, go, Autumn. Please, I'll be right behind you. I ran. The tunnel was narrow, dark, and smelled like earth and terror. I stumbled through it, Alessandro's hand firm on my back, pushing me forward. Behind us, his men followed in grim silence, and behind them, the sound of gunfire grew fainter. How far? I gasped. 100 yards. Keep moving. The tunnel sloped upward. My lungs burned. My hands scraped against rough stone walls. But Alessandro's presence behind me was solid, real, alive. We burst out into the night air at the tree line. I fell to my knees, gasping, while Alessandro's men took defensive positions around us. Everyone out? Alessandro demanded. All accounted for, sir, Tomas reported. Good. Alessandro pulled out the device from earlier. Get to the vans. We have 30 seconds. We ran. 20 seconds later, we were piling into the vans. 10 seconds later, Alessandro hit the button. The Genovese compound exploded. Not one explosion, multiple. Carefully placed charges that ripped through the mansion in a choreographed symphony of destruction. Fire bloomed into the night sky, turning darkness into terrible, beautiful light. I watched the inferno through the van's rear window, unable to look away. How many were inside? I asked quietly. Alessandro's hand found mine. 23. The entire leadership of the Genovese family. Everyone who authorized the attacks, who threatened you, who worked with Sofia to tear down everything I've built. You killed them all? Yes. His voice was flat, empty. I told you I was a monster, Autumn. I told you this was who I am. I turned to look at him. In the fire's glow, his face was half in shadow, expression carefully blank, but I could see the cost written in the tension of his jaw, the shadows under his eyes. You gave them a choice, I said. Back at the warehouse with Marco, you offered mercy, and they chose war. Chose to come after everyone I care about. Chose to make you a target. His grip on my hand tightened painfully. I'm not going to apologize for ending them. I'm not asking you to. I leaned against him, exhausted beyond measure. I'm just trying to understand how you live with it. How you carry all that weight. I don't know anymore. His voice cracked slightly. Before you, I didn't question it. Violence was just the cost of power, the price of maintaining order in a city that respects nothing but strength. And now I wonder if there was another way. If I could have stopped this without becoming exactly what they accused me of being. He pressed his face into my hair. I wonder if loving you is making me weaker, or finally making me human. It's making you both, I said quietly. And maybe that's not a bad thing. The vans drove through the night, taking winding roads away from the burning compound. Alessandro made calls, coordinating with his people across the city. The attacks on his holdings had been half-hearted at best. The Genovese family had indeed pulled most of their forces back to trap Alessandro at their compound. It hadn't worked. What about Sofia? I asked as he hung up from his latest call. Alessandro's expression darkened. She's still in custody. Probably doesn't know yet that her alliance just went up in flames. What will you do with her? I don't know. He rubbed his face tiredly. She's family. The last family I have, actually. But she tried to have us both killed. The old you would have executed her, I observed. Yes. He looked at me. What would you do? Me? I'm nobody's judge, Alessandro. I'm just a chess player who fell in love with a king. You're more than that. His hand cupped my face. You're my conscience, my humanity, the voice that stops me from becoming the monster completely. That's too much responsibility for one person. I know. He kissed my forehead gently. But it's what I need, who I need. We arrived at another safe house, a penthouse this time, with views of the city and security that would make Fort Knox jealous. Alessandro's men swept the place, set up defensive positions, established a perimeter, and then finally, we were alone. We need to sleep, Alessandro said, but neither of us moved. I'm not sure I can. I walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, fire crews were battling the blaze at the Genovese compound. Somewhere, Sophia waited in custody. Somewhere, the delicate balance of power in the city's underworld was shifting, recalibrating in response to tonight's violence. And here I stood, Autumn Chen, former chess prodigy turned waitress, now the lover of the most dangerous man in the city. I don't know how to go back, I said quietly, to my old life, to being invisible. After everything I've seen, everything I've done, you can't go back, Alessandro said, coming to stand behind me. His arms wrapped around my waist, pulling me against his chest. None of us can. We only go forward. Forward to what? More violence? More enemies? More nights wondering if we'll survive until morning? Or forward to something different? His lips brushed my temple. I meant what I said. When this settles, when the dust clears and the power vacuum fills, I want out. Not all the way out, I'm not that naive, but I want to step back. Let others run the day-to-day operations while I focus on other things. What other things? You, us, maybe a life that doesn't involve quite so much gunfire and explosions. He turned me to face him. I know it sounds impossible. I know my world doesn't let people retire peacefully. But maybe, just maybe, if I'm smart enough and ruthless enough in establishing my successor, I can buy us a chance at normal. Normal, I repeated, almost laughing. I'm not sure either of us knows what that means anymore. Then we'll figure it out together. He kissed me, soft and sweet and achingly tender. Chess lessons and quiet dinners and mornings where we don't wake up to assassination attempts. Sounds like heaven. Sounds terrifying, he admitted. I've been at war my entire adult life. I'm not sure I remember how to be anything else. You learned for me once already. You showed me mercy, vulnerability, humanity. You can learn the rest too. His phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. Answer it, I said. Your empire needs its king. Alessandro sighed but pulled out the phone. His expression shifted from tired to alert to furious in the span of seconds. When? A pause. How? Another pause. Don't let her leave. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up, and I already knew. Sophia? Escaped. 2 hours ago. Killed her guards, disabled the security, vanished into the city. His voice was deadly calm, and according to the note she left, she's not running. She's coming for us, for you specifically. Why me? Because she blames you for everything. For making me soft, for ruining the alliance with the Genovese family, for destroying her vision of what our empire should be. Alessandro was already moving, grabbing his jacket, checking his weapons. She thinks if she eliminates you, I'll become the monster again. The king who rules through fear instead of mercy. Will you? I asked quietly. Alessandro stopped, looking back at me. If she kills you? Yes, I'll become something so much worse than a monster. I'll become the thing that haunts monsters. Then I guess we'd better make sure she doesn't kill me. Autumn. No running, remember? No hiding. We face this together. She's trained, experienced, and completely unhinged by rage. You're a civilian who learned to shoot 4 hours ago. I'm also the woman you love, which means I'm not letting you face your last remaining family member alone. I grabbed my own jacket. Besides, she wants me dead, which makes this my fight as much as yours. Alessandro stared at me for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He laughed. It was rough, exhausted, a little bit broken, but genuine. You're going to be the death of me, Autumn Chen. Or your salvation, I reminded him, echoing our earlier exchange. Let's hope it's both. He pulled me close for one more kiss, because either way, I'm never letting you go. The phone rang again. This time it wasn't one of his men. It was Sophia. Alessandro answered on speaker. Hello, cousin? Sophia's voice was cold, controlled. I hear you've been busy tonight. The Genovese compound was very impressive, very thorough, very monstrous. What do you want, Sophia? The same thing I've always wanted. Our family's legacy preserved, our power absolute, and the distraction that's weakened you removed permanently. If you touch her, you'll what? Kill me? You already decided not to when you had the chance. That was your mistake, Alessandro. Mercy is weakness, and weakness gets people killed. Where are you? Somewhere meaningful. Somewhere that represents everything you're throwing away for a waitress who plays chess. A pause. The velvet rose, where it all began. Come alone, and maybe I'll make her death quick. The line went dead. Alessandro's face was ashen. She's going to burn down the restaurant, with you inside it. Then we'd better get there first. Autumn, she wants you. Specifically. This is a trap. Everything's a trap, I interrupted. But here's what she doesn't know. I'm a Grandmaster who never loses. And I've been playing defensive chess my entire life, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Alessandro's eyes searched mine. What are you thinking? I'm thinking, I said slowly, that it's time for Sophia to learn the same lesson you did. Never underestimate the invisible girl. Tell me your plan. I did. It was risky, possibly insane, definitely dangerous. But Alessandro smiled, that dangerous, beautiful smile that had first caught my attention. You really are magnificent, he said. Magnificent enough to survive tonight? We'll find out together. The Velvet Rose was dark when we arrived, its elegant facade shadowed by the pre-dawn darkness. Alessandro's men surrounded the building from a distance, ready but out of sight per my plan. This had to look like we'd come alone. Last chance to change your mind? Alessandro said as we approached the front door. Not a chance. My hand was steady on the gun tucked into my jacket. 4 hours of training wouldn't make me an expert, but it would be enough. It had to be. The door was unlocked. Inside, the restaurant was lit by candles. Hundreds of them, placed throughout the dining room like a wake. Or a funeral. How dramatic, I murmured. She always had a flair for theater, Alessandro replied, his voice tight. Sophia sat at the shadow table, table 7, where this had all begun. She looked immaculate despite everything. Her dark hair swept up, her dress elegant, a gun resting casually on the white tablecloth beside a chess set, the same chess set we'd played with that first night. Cousin. Sophia's smile was cold. And the girlfriend. How cozy. Sophia. Alessandro's voice was carefully controlled. This ends tonight, one way or another. I agree. Sophia gestured to the chairs across from her. Sit. Let's play one final game. I'm not here to play chess with you, Alessandro said. Not you. Sophia's eyes fixed on me. Her one game. If she wins, you both walk out of here alive. I'll disappear, you'll never hear from me again. And if you win? I asked. Then Alessandro puts a bullet in your head himself. Proves to me, to himself, to the entire city that he's still the king. Still capable of making the hard choice. Alessandro moved between us. Absolutely not. It's fine. I stepped around him, approaching the table. I'll play. Autumn, trust me. I met his eyes. Please. The war in his expression was painful to witness. But finally, he nodded. I sat across from Sophia, studying the board. The pieces were already set up mid-game. Black was losing. Recognize this position? Sophia asked. I did. It was from my final championship game, 5 years ago. The game I'd lost after my grandfather died. The one that had broken my spirit and made me walk away from chess forever. You did your research? I said. Of course. I needed to understand what Alessandro saw in you. What could possibly make him throw away everything for a nobody waitress? Sophia leaned forward. Do you know what I learned? That you're a quitter, a coward. You ran from chess because you couldn't handle losing. Just like you'll run from this life because you can't handle what it requires. Is that what you think? I studied the board, my mind already working through the combinations. That I ran from chess because of one loss? Didn't you? I walked away because chess stopped being about the beauty of the game and started being about my father's ego. About proving the Volkov legacy. About being a weapon instead of a person. I moved my knight, not the move Sophia expected, judging by her frown. Sound familiar? This isn't about me, isn't it? I captured her bishop. You're sitting here trying to force Alessandro to kill me because you can't handle him wanting something beyond the empire. Because his mercy threatens your entire worldview. You're just as much a prisoner of this life as he is. Maybe more. Sophia's hand trembled slightly as she moved her queen. You think you understand us? You've been in this world for 3 days. And in those 3 days, I've seen more humanity in Alessandro than you've apparently seen in him your entire life. I sacrificed my rook, opening up her king. He mourns the people he kills. He questions his choices. He wants something better, not because he's weak, but because he's finally strong enough to imagine a different future. There is no different future. There's only power and those who take it. That's where you're wrong. I moved my queen into position. Check. Sophia stared at the board, her confidence faltering for the first time. This position is unwinnable, I continued quietly. You set it up thinking I'd do what I did 5 years ago, collapse under pressure, make emotional mistakes, lose control. But I'm not that scared girl anymore, and this isn't the same game. I captured her rook. Check. Sophia moved her king desperately. See, what you don't understand about chess, I said, moving my remaining bishop, is that it's not about the pieces you lose. It's about position, about seeing possibilities your opponent can't, about being patient enough to sacrifice everything to reach the endgame. This isn't chess. Everything is chess. I leaned forward. You set up this whole scenario thinking Alessandro would prove himself by killing me. But you forgot one crucial thing. What? Alessandro doesn't lose. I moved my queen one final time. And neither do I. Checkmate. Sophia stared at the board in disbelief. The position was inescapable. Her king had nowhere to run, no pieces to block, no way out. Impossible, she breathed. You underestimated me, I said simply. Just like Alessandro did that first night. Just like everyone does. The invisible girl who plays chess like breathing. I stood. I won, which means we walk out of here. Sophia's hand moved to her gun. Alessandro was faster. His weapon was drawn and aimed at his cousin in a heartbeat. Don't! You won't shoot me, Sophia said, but uncertainty crept into her voice. I'm family. I'm all you have left. You were family, Alessandro corrected quietly. Past tense. You stopped being family when you threatened Autumn, when you tried to have her killed, when you forced me to choose between my past and my future. And you choose her, a waitress? I choose the woman who beat me at chess twice, who walked into my world with her eyes open and chose to stay, who showed me that mercy isn't weakness, it's the hardest form of strength. His aim never wavered. I choose Autumn. Every time, forever. Sophia laughed bitterly. Then you've already lost, cousin. You just don't know it yet. She moved, fast, bringing up her gun toward me. 2 shots rang out simultaneously. Alessandro's bullet hit Sophia's shoulder, spinning her around. Mine hit the table. Splintering wood. I'd pulled the trigger instinctively, but missed by miles. Sophia dropped her gun, clutching her bleeding shoulder, eyes wide with shock and pain. You shot me, she gasped. Your own family. I gave you a choice, Alessandro said, his voice empty. Multiple chances to walk away, to choose differently, but you chose violence. You chose to threaten the one thing in this world I can't lose. He pulled out his phone. Tomas, come in. We need medical and transport. You're not killing me? Sophia asked. No. Alessandro lowered his gun, his expression exhausted. I'm not my father. I'm not the monster everyone expects me to be. You'll live, Sophia. You'll get medical treatment, and then you'll disappear. Out of the city, out of my life, out of this world entirely. If you ever come back, if you ever threaten Autumn again, you'll kill me, Sophia finished. No. Alessandro looked at me, something soft and painful in his eyes. She will, because I've learned something in the last 3 days. Mercy isn't about being soft. It's about trusting the people you love to help you make the right choice, even when it's hard, even when it costs you. His men arrived, efficient and silent, taking Sophia away. She went without fighting, something broken in her expression. When we were finally alone, Alessandro holstered his gun with shaking hands. You missed, he said quietly. I told you I only had 4 hours of training. I set down my own gun, my hands trembling now that the adrenaline was fading. I'm not a killer, Alessandro. I know. He pulled me close, and I felt him shaking too. Thank God you're not. Thank God at least one of us still has clean hands. Your hands aren't that dirty, I said into his chest. You chose mercy, twice in one night. That counts for something, does it? His voice was raw. I still shot her. Still hurt my own cousin. Still chose you over family. You chose the future over the past. That's not wrong, Alessandro. That's human. We stood there in the candlelight, two broken people holding each other together, while the sun finally began to rise over the city outside. Is it over? I asked. The immediate threat? Yes, the Genovese family is destroyed. Sophia is neutralized. The other families will scramble to fill the power vacuum, but they'll be too busy fighting each other to threaten us. He pulled back to look at me. But it's never really over, Autumn. There will always be another threat, another challenge, another choice between mercy and violence. Then we'll face them together, I said simply. One at a time. One choice at a time. Together, he echoed, and kissed me like he was sealing a promise. Alessandro, I said when we finally broke apart, can we go home now? I'm exhausted. Home. He smiled, a real smile, warm and genuine. I like the sound of that. Which home? The mansion? The penthouse? The apartment? Wherever you are, I said. That's home now. His expression softened into something achingly vulnerable. You know I'm still dangerous, right? I'm still the king of this city's underworld. I still have enemies and obligations and a darkness that won't ever fully go away. I know. I took his hand. But you're also the man who plays chess at midnight and shows mercy when it costs him everything, and looks at me like I'm more important than any empire. That's the man I love. All of him. Darkness included. You're going to ruin me, Autumn Chen. Or save you, I suggested. Both, he said, and kissed me again. Definitely both. We walked out of the Velvet Rose together, into the rising sun, leaving the candles burning behind us like ghosts of the people we used to be. The city was waking up, unaware that its king had just chosen love over power, mercy over revenge, tomorrow over yesterday, and maybe, just maybe, that would make all the difference. 3 months later, I stood at the window of Alessandro's our penthouse apartment, watching the city lights blur in the rain, and realized I'd forgotten what fear tasted like. Not that life had become safe. Alessandro still ran his empire, still made hard decisions, still carried a gun, and lived with guards and dealt with the endless complications of being the king. But he'd kept his promise. He'd stepped back from the day-to-day violence, elevated lieutenants he trusted, and slowly, carefully, begun building something different. Not legitimate. We weren't naive enough to think he could fully wash the blood from his hands. But less dark, less brutal, more focused on business and less on body counts, and I'd found my place in this strange new world. You're thinking too loud, Alessandro said, coming up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist. He smelled like whiskey and the cologne I'd bought him last month, expensive and complex and entirely him. Just remembering, I said, leaning back against his chest. Remembering what? That night at the Velvet Rose. The first one, when you invited me to play chess. I turned in his arms to face him. Did you know then that I'd become this? Become what? Yours, part of your world, someone who knows where the bodies are buried, sometimes literally, and loves you anyway. Alessandro's smile was soft, private, meant only for me. I didn't know anything except that you'd surprised me, and in my world, surprises are usually fatal. But you, he tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, you were the good kind of surprise, the kind that makes you want to be better than you are. And are you better? I'm trying. His expression grew more serious. I still have to make choices I hate. Still have to hurt people to protect what's mine. But I think about it now. Question it. Look for alternatives instead of just reaching for the gun. Because of me? Because you showed me there was another way. Not a perfect way, not a clean way, but a more thoughtful one. He kissed my forehead. You're my conscience, Autumn. My North Star. The reason I keep trying to be something more than the monster. You were never just a monster. I said softly. You were always more complicated than that. Perhaps. But I forgot, for a long time. His hand found mine, fingers lacing together. After Isabella died, I became what everyone expected. Cold, ruthless, efficient. It was easier than feeling the grief. Easier than admitting I was drowning. And now I feel everything. It's terrifying and beautiful, and I wouldn't change it for anything. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Which brings me to something I've been meaning to ask you. My heart stopped. Alessandro, let me finish before you panic. He opened the box, revealing a ring, antique, elegant, with a stone that caught the light like captured starfire. This was my grandmother's, the only piece of jewelry Isabella wanted me to keep after she died. She said to save it for when I found someone who saw the man instead of the crown. Words failed me. I know it's fast. I know we've only been together 3 months. I know the rational thing is to wait, to take it slow, to be sensible. His thumb brushed across my cheek. But nothing about us has been rational from the start. And I learned something in the last 3 months, watching you integrate into my impossible world. I learned that when you find the person who makes you want to be better, who stands beside you in the darkness and still sees light, you don't let them go. Alessandro, I'm not asking you to marry me tomorrow. I'm not even asking you to wear this ring in public if you don't want to. I just need you to know, his voice roughened, that you're it for me, Autumn Chen. Forever. In whatever form that takes. Whether we eventually get married or just spend the next 50 years playing chess at midnight and surviving assassination attempts, I'm yours, completely, irrevocably, eternally. I stared at the ring, at the man holding it, at the life we'd somehow built from chess games and gunfire and choosing each other over and over again. You're insane, I whispered. Yes. This world is dangerous. Yes. We could both die tomorrow in some war I don't fully understand. Yes. And you still want this? Want me? Want forever? More than I've ever wanted anything. He smiled. That devastating smile that had first caught my attention. So what do you say? Will you be my partner, my conscience, my checkmate? Will you keep teaching me how to be human while I keep teaching you how to be dangerous? I should have said no. Should have recognized that this was still too fast, too intense, too much like a fever dream that would break in the morning light. But I'd learned something in the last 3 months too. I'd learned that safe was overrated, that visible was better than invisible, that love, real love, was worth every risk, every danger, every impossible choice. Yes, I said, to all of it, forever, in whatever form it takes. Alessandro slipped the ring onto my finger. Perfect fit, like it had been made for me, and kissed me like it was the first time, and the last time, and every time in between. I love you, he murmured against my lips. My queen, my grandmaster, my salvation and my ruin. I love you too, I said. My king, my monster, my tomorrow. We stood there in the rain-blurred light. 2 impossible people who'd found each other against all odds and refused to let go. Behind us, on the coffee table, a chess set waited. We played every night now. Games that lasted hours, neither of us willing to surrender. It was our ritual, our meditation, our way of staying connected to the people we'd been before the world tried to break us. Want to play? Alessandro asked, following my gaze. Later. I pulled him toward the bedroom. Right now I want to celebrate our engagement properly. His laugh was warm, genuine, full of the joy I'd spent 3 months coaxing out of him. I like the way you think. I know you do. We made love slowly, tenderly, learning each other's bodies and souls with the same focus we brought to chess. And afterward, lying tangled together in the darkness, Alessandro traced patterns on my bare shoulder and told me stories about his childhood, about Isabella, about the man he'd been before the crown and the blood. I told him about my grandfather, about the girl who'd loved chess so much it hurt, about the dreams I'd abandoned when grief became too heavy to carry. Do you miss it? He asked quietly. The competitive chess world, the chance to be a grandmaster for real, not just in skill. Sometimes, I admitted, but I traded one kind of game for another. And this one, I gestured at the city beyond the windows, at the life we'd built. This one matters more. Has higher stakes, better rewards. You could go back, he said suddenly, to competitive chess. I'd support you, make sure you were safe, protected, able to focus on the game. Maybe someday. I kissed his jaw, his cheek, his lips. But not yet. Right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. Playing chess with mobsters at midnight? Playing chess with the man I love at midnight, I corrected. The mobster part is just flavor. His laugh rumbled through his chest into mine. Flavor? I'm going to tell Thomas you called the criminal empire flavor. You wouldn't dare, wouldn't I? His hands found my waist, tickling, and I shrieked, dissolving into laughter as we wrestled like children instead of the dangerous, complicated adults we'd become. Later, much later, we finally made our way to the chess set. Alessandro set up the pieces while I made coffee. His black, mine with enough cream and sugar to scandalize his Italian heritage. New game? He asked as I sat down across from him. Always, I said, and moved my first pawn. We played until dawn, the city waking up around us, unaware that in this penthouse high above the streets, a king and his queen were building a life from checkmates and second chances. I'm going to beat you eventually, Alessandro said as I captured his queen. Maybe, I agreed. But not tonight. No, he smiled. Not tonight. I moved my final piece. Checkmate. Alessandro studied the board, then looked up at me with eyes full of love and laughter and infinite tomorrows. Again, he said. And so we began again, as we would every night for the rest of our lives. Two people who'd found each other in the darkness and refused to let go, playing endless games of chess and building an empire not of fear, but of love. The city sparkled below us, full of danger and possibility. But up here, in our sanctuary of light and pieces and whispered promises, we were safe. We were home. We were forever.